Welcome to Flight Failures, the channel that brings you crucial lessons from the skies. Before we dive into today's tragic story, remember to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any more vital lessons from the history of aviation. Today we will examine a plane crash that involved a series of fatal errors and carelessness that cost the lives of 6 young people in Scottsdale, Arizona. Our story begins with a Piper Comanche, a small plane that took off in the early evening hours. On board, 6 people: 23-year-old Instagram model, Mariah Coogan, 28-year-old entrepreneur and influencer, known as Happy, Anand Patel, and other young people including Helena Logos, 22 years old, and Iris Rodriguez Garcia, 23 years old. The certified pilot, 32-year-old Eric Valente, was inexplicably in the right seat, while in the left seat, typically reserved for the pilot in command, was James Pedroza, a student pilot without the authority to fly with passengers. This configuration was the first of a series of serious errors. Aviation rules require that student pilots not act as pilots in command if there are passengers on board. This flight should not have been conducted with James in the seat of the pilot in command, but the tragedy developed differently. James had only purchased a partial share of the plane and was not qualified to operate a flight with passengers. Nonetheless, he arranged the trip from Scottsdale to Las Vegas. The real owner of the plane was not aware of the number of passengers or that James would occupy the command seat. On the day of the flight, Eric, who had flown the plane from North Las Vegas to Scottsdale, found himself dealing with an unexpected situation. Not only did the number of passengers exceed the plane's ability to fly safely, but there was also an undetected problem with the plane itself. A valve spring in the engine cylinder was broken, limiting engine power and compromising capacity of climb of the plane. Despite the suboptimal conditions and the strange configuration of the pilots, the plane took off. Witnesses and airport footage reveal that the plane showed obvious difficulty gaining altitude. After takeoff, the flight controller noticed that the plane did not appear to have enough power and was moving unsteadily. Eric replied that it was just a training exercise, despite the obvious difficulties. The Piper Comanche continued to struggle to gain altitude, until it began a left turn, lost control and crashed. Everyone on board perished in the accident. Subsequent investigations revealed that the aircraft was overloaded and its center of gravity was outside the permissible limits. Additionally, James was found to have traces of narcotics in his system, although this was not considered a direct factor in the disaster. The probable cause identified by the NTSB was the instructor pilot's failure to maintain control of the aircraft, exacerbated by excessive weight. However, a key mistake was the decision to proceed with the flight with an inadequate pilot configuration and without appropriate checks on the aircraft's weight and balance. This tragedy highlights the importance of strictly adhering to aviation regulations, performing thorough pre-flight checks, and for pilots to know and respect their limits and those of the aircraft. Ensuring that every flight is conducted safely should be the top priority to avoid fatal consequences. For more lessons from plane crashes and how to avoid them, subscribe to Flight Failures and turn on notifications. Don't forget to leave a like if you found this video informative and educational. See you next time, and always remember to fly safely.